In this lesson, I'm trying to show students two uses of completing a square. One is to solve quadratic equations like in 1 through 3. So in number 1, if I demonstrate that, the first step is for them to take the constant to the other side so they actually can complete that square and figure out what the c needs to be like they did visually with the algebra tiles in the warm-up. So you have x squared plus 2x equals positive 48 when you take it across the equal sign, so I can figure out what that plus c is there to actually complete the square. So that's why I was showing them that the second representation of the student diagram was more visual, because you actually take half of the middle term. So if I split 2 in half, that's going to be 1x, and then you square it. So 1 squared is 1, so you take half the middle term and square it, so you add 1 here, but as when we're solving equations, when you add something to one side of the equation, you also add it to the other side. And then you just factor it or complete the square. This is going to be x plus, it's always half the middle term in this factor, so whatever you took was half of 2 was 1 and squared, and the sign is always what sign you see here. So it's x plus 1 squared. They also already know how to factor this if they don't want to use the shortcut tricks. Equals 49. Take the square root, and you have x plus 1 equals plus or minus 7. Subtract 1 from both sides. And so you have x equals negative 1 plus 7, which is 6. Or if you take negative 1 minus 7, x is also equal to negative 8. And then in the second use that I talk about is changing from standard form to vertex form. In this one, they still complete the square, but they stay on one side of the equal sign, and so that's a little confusing for students, and that's why later I'll have them do a comparison chart comparing the two differences between those on the same problem. So you have x squared minus 8x, and I'm going to stay on one side of the equation, so I'm just going to move the minus 10 over, and I'm still going to figure out what I need to add for c here. So half of the middle term, half of 8 is 4, and when you square that, you get 16, and so you're going to put plus 16 there. But when you put plus 16 there, this time you're not taking it to the other side of the equation to add to that constant, so you actually have to zero it out and stay on one side as if you didn't add it. So subtract 16 instead of adding it if you're staying on one side of the equation, and then you'll just complete the square for the beginning trinomial just like you did before. So that's going to be x minus comes from this symbol right here, and then half of the middle term was 4 squared, and then negative 10 minus 16 is going to be negative 26, and that's going to be set equal just to y, and it changed it from standard form to vertex form, so the vertex is actually at 4, negative 26.